All right, so we have officially closed the book on the first core of Bleach's Thousand-Year Blood War, and I have to say, right off the bat, this whole part one, core one, however you want to break it down, has been absolutely amazing. Uh, I haven't been able to talk about these last two episodes because I have been insanely busy with work, but here I am. That does not matter because I'm here now. Anyways, um, I immediately have to say another smash on the smash or pass review scale. Uh, they hit all the right notes to end this very first part of the Bleach's return. Hit all the emotional beats. Had very little action, but it brought everything to an end, and I couldn't be happier. First, we started off with the aftermath of White's attack on Misaki and how she was pretty much just going about her day, and she started to become possessed, or she was being transformed. Her soul was basically going to commit suicide um, because she had the hollow essence infecting her. Um, when this all started to happen, she got a hole in her chest, and she passed, fell on the ground, and was in complete pain. Ryukin, trying to figure out what's going on, picked her up and took her looking for his father. Ended up coming across a hollow and good old Ishin Shiba, who we now know as Ishin Kurosaki. As he was yelling at Ishin, trying to say this was all his fault, Kisuke Orohara arrives and said, "Hey, you two, that's enough. Come with me if you want to save her life." And he basically took both of them, or all three of them, to his candy shop and explained the situation to him. Hey, her essence is being consumed or transformed by this hollow that she came across, and if we don't find a way to counteract, her soul will then explode. And the only way to counteract Quincy Hollow Hybrid is with the complete opposite. So Ryukin, already being a smart man, knew what this meant, and he had a hard time figuring that Ishin would be the one to step up because he had nothing to gain. Ishin, being a Soul Reaper, could be the counter force to Masaki with the help of Kisuke Orohara, because he would basically give up his powers, become a human Soul Reaper hybrid, and balance out Masaki's condition. And without a second doubt, he did that because that's the man he is. That's the type of man he is, and we have seen that's where Ichigo gets it. The outcome is the outcome. You got to save a person's life, and that's what you're going to do, whatever it takes. So he gave up his Soul Reaper powers. He basically kept Misaki alive, stayed at a distance, and as time went on, these two started to form a nice little friendship relationship, and on a certain date, he ended up falling in love with her, and she was his whole world. And of course, because of that, we got Ichigo and his twin sisters. Fast forward to a few years later, we find out the truth of how Misaki was killed against a very infamous hollow known as Grand Fisher. Um, Ichigo's dad basically said at that point she should not have had any problem with him. She should have been able to kill him, even with her blood being tainted with this hollow essence. It wouldn't have been a problem. But on that day, Yuhaba decided to take any Quincy power from any human that he deemed um, not pure. So that meant making Uryu's mom sick, and she eventually passed away. And at that moment, where Masaki was face to face with Grand Fisher, she lost all her abilities, so she couldn't fight, and then she lost her life. So he is the reason why both Uryu and Ichigo lost their mothers. So this brought everything into perspective with Ichigo, and he's more determined ever to stop and maybe potentially kill this man that threw all this heartbreak into his world. Because if you've watched the series, you know he's very close to his mom, and because of what happened with his mom, he is very protective of his friends and family. And when he has no power and he feels weak, it really gets to him because he doesn't like to be protected. He likes to be the one who protects everyone around him. So when he finally gets his mind in the right place, he is sent back to Soul Society where they decide to reforge his sword because now he finally knows who he is. So when he is thrown into the uh, castle with Yamada, um, the creator of all these Zanpakuto, all these Asucha, don't even fight him. They all kneel, which is what it seems like a first to everybody. Ichigo walks through all these Asuchi, however you say that, sorry, and he grabs one and it immediately turns white and his face looks like the hollow that attacked Ichigo's mom and the same hollow that Ichigo becomes whenever he eventually dies in the previous series. Um, when that happens, they take that Asucha to reforge Ichigo's sword. They go through this whole rigmarole, to forge his new blades. And while they're doing this, Yamada Yamada basically says, Wetsu Maya. I butchering his name. Anyways, he basically says, isn't it funny that the one that has always been with you seems just like or looks just like the man who is currently trying to destroy Soul Society, which took Ichigo back, a bit, and then he realized, hey, there was a reason why this man felt familiar whenever he came across him for the first time, and lo and behold, the old man Zangetsu soul in his body is the younger version of Yuhaba. Um, and when Ichigo finally comes in back into his, head, and he's in his soul talking to old man Zangetsu, his inner world starts to crumble and break apart. And Ichigo is at a loss for words because he feels like he has been lied to and betrayed by the man who has been there since the very beginning. And the truth is, old man Zangetsu, who is Ichigo's actual Quincy powers, never wanted Ichigo to get involved in any of this. He wanted to keep him away, and when the time came, he said he would kill him if need be. But Ichigo chose to be a Soul Reaper on his own accord, and as time went on, he went from this guy, trying to stunt Ichigo's progression to a man that was sort of a grandfather type figure, and he started to root for Ichigo, and his own heart started to waver. And as this went on, he realized that he was no longer wanting to get in Ichigo's way, and he wanted Ichigo to actually succeed, which says a lot of the type of man Ichigo is, because through all the suffering and loss he's gone through, he's always moved forward. And even with the shackles that have held him from his, that have been placed on him by his own spirit and his own powers, he's been able to break that awe and change that awe. And we find out that his inner hollow has been his Soul Reaper powers the whole time, and Old Man Zangetsu, like I said, was his Quincy abilities. And as he decides to say goodbye and stop holding Ichigo back, he materializes into this blue energy sword, and as his body is deteriorating, you see a tear come out of his eyes, showing that he is happy that Ichigo is the man that he's become. And at that point, Ichigo pours his soul into this sword that's being reforged. He pulls his hands out, and he has not one but two Zanpakuto, which is now his Zangetsu. Short blade representing his Quincy abilities, and a longer blade representing his hollow Soul Reaper abilities. And as we see this moment, he basically says, "I'll no longer rely on either one of you. I will fight because the blade is me. You are me, and we will move forward now." And that's where the episode ends, with the exception of Yuhabak meeting Uryu for the first time, but nothing really happens there. And that's where the first core ends, and I could not be happier. They absolutely killed it. Hell, a few hours after this episode dropped, they said that Core 2 is going to be coming in July, so the wait won't be long. They dropped a little teaser. We got to see, some scenes or some images from Core 2. So come July, we're going to get more Bleach. So I don't know what's going to happen until now and then. I'm sure I'll find something else to watch. I probably won't talk about it any because, like I said, I am no good at this. I'm just doing this to get maybe one or two people to give Bleach a chance and check it out because, like I said, and I will always say, it is my favorite. I've always been wearing a black shirt. This is my white version of the shirt, which is a Bleach, very rare Bleach piece of apparel, which I absolutely love. But yeah, from beginning to end, Bleach has not disappointed this season. The music has been good. The animation has been good. The changes they've made in the story have made sense. They've gotten rid of a lot of jokes. That's not necessarily a bad thing. They are going through this story at a good pace. That's telling me that they are planning to add a lot in the next three cores. We have core 2, 3, and 4, and then it's done. We're supposed to have 52 episodes. That could change, but as of now, it's 52 episodes. They already said they're adding a few fights to this next core. I'm sure they're going to expand on some stories because in the original run, Tite Kubo, the author, got sick and had to rush things. It's well known. It's all out there. But yeah, I am ecstatic to have Bleach back, and it's been knocking it out of the park this whole season. A lot of websites are giving it 9s, 10s reviews, and that's amazing. Outside of anime Twitter and the odd spaces of YouTube where they both say anime or Bleach is trash or mid, as the kids say it these days, it's not. It's here, and it's going to be leading the charge on anime for the next few years, and I am all for it. I hope you check it out. Thank you for watching this show that I've been putting out. I will hopefully get better at it, but you have a good one. And I am going to probably rewatch the whole Core 1 again, because that's what I do.